Hey everybody, my name is Hunter and I'm going to speak to the college recruiting process for college baseball. This is going to be an orientation and an overview. So on slide 2, the purpose of this presentation is to inform students and parents like yourselves about the college baseball recruiting process. This will be a general overview, won't cover everything, but should start out with some good information for you guys. I want to first share a little bit about why I want to do this and the impact that my faith, values, and beliefs has on this. Something that's big for me in my experience of playing college baseball was that I put it on a pedestal. It became my ultimate identity and purpose. It was where I could play at. What baseball was to me, it was everything. I was a baseball player. It was everything was college baseball. And what I want to share with you guys is that don't let that happen. Don't make college baseball or playing college baseball, or even baseball at all, your ultimate identity or your purpose in life. God has so much more for you in your life than just what's in this game. The game is temporary. It can't go on forever no matter how good you are. It doesn't define you as a person. And it certainly doesn't define you as a parent for what your kid's doing. So my experience really motivates that, and my faith in the Lord now and the hope I have in Him keeps college baseball in perspective to where I can love it, but not idolize it at the same time. So that's the biggest one for me. So now I just want to share that there's a lot of factors that go into this, and it's these experiences that motivate me to want to share it with you guys. So I want to jump right into baseball recruiting important facts. These are a couple things that stick out right away. Slide 4. Basically, there's no such thing as a full ride baseball scholarship, and there's all sorts of divisions that you can play at. So most programs aren't fully funded, and the ones that are still don't have enough scholarships to cover everybody on the team. So even when you're getting a scholarship, it's partial. Academic scholarships are going to be big. And you need to understand too, right away, I'm going to say this like 10 times throughout this presentation, but the recruiting process needs to be proactive on you. It's on you to take control of the recruiting process, as for you as a player or for your son. You can't wait back for coaches to come get you because thinking that, oh, I'm so good, coaches are just going to come find me. On the other end, you shouldn't be discouraged that, oh, well, I'm not good enough, nobody's going to want me. Maybe, but I would say give it a fair shot because there are so many lower level programs looking for guys that want to play ball, that have good grades, and that want to work hard and improve. There's going to be a spot for you if you can fit into that category. Here's some more information. Here's specifically the recruiting statistics and numbers. For college baseball, this is from 2015 on slide 5 here, and it shows each division, Division 1 through 3 with the NCAA, NAIA, and then junior colleges. It shows how few baseball scholarships there really are out there, and really how few guys are playing college baseball out there. So it's a pretty select group, pretty select world that you're a part of to play. So you can even see that how Division I baseball is such a small slice, even of this. Okay, I want to talk about differences of divisions. Slide 6. This is thick right here. Couple things I want us to take away from this. First, look at all this information, but understand that it's good that there's different divisions. Obviously, if you're a top player that's looking at a bunch of top Division I schools, that's a very different experience from a guy that's not a great baseball player but loves the game, has good grades, and wants to get a great education and continue to play. There's opportunities for both guys, and that's incredible. There's opportunities for guys with not so good grades at bad academic schools that are a lot of junior colleges, and there's great opportunities at top, Ivy League schools for guys to go play baseball there. So you got a wide range of where you can go, and so it's important to understand the differences between D1, D2, D3, NAIA, JUCO ball, and then JUCO ball in California, and even this United States Collegiate Athletic Association, which is very small baseball. I would also say within this, the type of program you're at, with the level of consistency of success, the type of coach, the way they do things, the way guys develop, a lot of times matters more than the division of the school. I mean, the top D1 programs from the bottom D1 programs, there's just a monumental difference in experience and talent level. Same thing at Division 2. The top D2 programs can play with Division 1 schools, but the bottom Division 2 programs, it's really rough baseball. It's not good. Same at Division III, same at NAIA. There's top programs in all these divisions that do a really good job, and then there's programs that don't do a very good job. So I would just say be aware of the program. Just because it says D1 or it says NAIA, look more into it. Ask another layer of questions before just writing it off. But take in this information. Those are a couple other things I wanted to share with you. Going on to slide 7. This is really important for you guys right now and where you're at as parents and as players. You need to understand the timeline. This is where being proactive really matters. It's never too early to start being proactive. You're being proactive by playing. You're being proactive by loving the game. You're being proactive by developing, improving, and getting good grades and building a network of coaches and people to talk to. All those things are great. You should be doing that throughout the whole process, especially starting in youth baseball. So what I like to tell people is that even in youth baseball, you can gain information. You should be proactive about that. You should be asking questions, attending, conferences. A lot of times college or coaches will speak locally or high schools will speak. You should be learning information. You should get a book. You should get some resources. I list them at the end. That should be a big focus there. And as you get into high school, you want to put together your list. You want to start to research schools in all sorts of divisions. Some top Division I dream schools or lower ones, and then some good Division II programs or different parts of the country. You need to know what your factors are, what your priorities are, and you need to match that then with potential schools that you could go to. You want to start to put together a list. Again, you want to be proactive because you want to be reaching out to schools, and as schools reach out to you, you want to be able to have a real dynamic situation with, by the time you get to your junior, senior year, you have some options. That's the biggest thing from this. Is the reason you want to be proactive is because you want to give yourself options when it comes time to sign or make a college decision. You want to be able to pick the best option rather than being stuck having just one option. It's my biggest advice from this slide. Be proactive, be proactive, be proactive. Moving on. I want to help you guys think, both as players and as parents, what coaches are thinking from their point of view. So as a coach, when I'm recruiting guys, there's a lot to take into consideration. So this is important. You need to understand where coaches are coming from. I mean, the first thing they're looking at is academics. That's absolutely true, because no matter how good of a baseball player you are, if you can't get into the school and if you can't stay eligible, it doesn't matter how good of a baseball player you are. So you need to have good grades and you have good test scores. You need to get into the school. You need to show that you have good academics. Right along with that is your character. What kind of person are you? What kind of guy are you? What kind of teammate are you? What's your work ethic like? What's your attitude like? All that stuff matters. It matters so much to college baseball coaches because they're investing in you as a young man to bring into their program, to invest not only money in, but all their time and resource and energy. That they want you to be the kind of guy that can work hard and can do things the right way. It matters a lot. Then obviously we have baseball ability. Coaches are obviously evaluating your baseball ability, but they're looking at it in a couple different ways. One way they're looking at is your current ability. Can this guy step into my program and compete right away? What's it? And then the other question they ask is, what's his projectability like? So if he can perform right away, well, maybe I can even project him to be like an all-conference, all-American guy. Or maybe he's not ready yet, but in a couple years when he's a junior, senior, after he's put some work in, got in the weight room, he's going to develop to be a good player for me. Coaches are thinking with those kind of lenses when they're recruiting guys. They're going to look at athleticism, your baseball IQ, your fundamentals, and your mechanics. They're going to look at all of that and try to put together this piece of, okay, where's he at right now? Where can I project him being in my program? Next, and what you also have to consider is that coaches in every school has a unique situation as far as their positional needs and their scholarship availability. This fluctuates every year for every school. So you could be a phenomenal first baseman and one of the top recruits in the country, but there's a school right now that has the returning All-American first baseman who's going to get drafted high. Like, you don't want to go to that school, and that coach probably isn't going to offer you a great situation. You know what I mean? So there's more to consider than just you. You have to understand where they're at in their team dynamics, and coaches are thinking at that macro level about how can I put a full team together when they're thinking about their positional needs and their scholarship money for this year. That they don't want to put it all in one class. They want to so there's a lot of factors going on from the coach's perspective. It's important you guys are aware of those. Moving on. Slide 9. This is great because you need to be aware that baseball is not your life. Like we say that a lot in the baseball world, is that like, oh, baseball's life, but there's so much more to the college experience than just playing baseball or being on the baseball team. So you need to understand the academics that you're getting yourself into, the tuition, the location of this school, the size of it, what the student life is like there. And you need to, my biggest advice with this is to talk to current students, both guys that are on the team and people that aren't on the team, about what they love about a school and what they hate about a school, and make them be honest. And that'll give you a really good taste of it. It's really important you know where your priorities are as a player, as a student, as a parent. What are your priorities? And then how can you make that fit in with the desire to play college baseball? Again, this is being proactive. I want to tell you two stories real quick. Both examples of guys not being proactive and how it hurt them. So one buddy changed their names. This guy's name is Mike, outfielder, stud player, 4 years varsity player in high school, really good, projected to be like a Division I player. He's great, plays on a club team, tournament team, and he's getting interest from some smaller Division I schools, some top junior colleges. He's getting some interest, but he's not really being proactive about pursuing them or talking to them. He's kind of hanging back, expecting just offers to come his way. All of a sudden, it's like at the end of his junior year, he doesn't have anything. He's kind of thinking about it. Senior year, nothing's coming. All of a sudden, he gets hurt, tears his labrum. Now he's not even playing, and he ends up thinking, well, maybe now I won't even play college baseball. Like that can happen because he wasn't proactive. He ends up going to a small local Division II school and doing all right there, but he wasn't proactive about this process to have those relationships with some coaches earlier on, even though he had the talent to. Another example, this guy named Joe. He's a tall pitcher that grew his junior year. He added like 10 miles an hour velocity from his sophomore to junior year and just started pitching varsity then. He goes to his first showcase and he's showing upper 80s and 90, and a couple of schools there show a ton of interest. One school offers him a scholarship on the spot. He signs with that school as quick as possible. All of a sudden, then later in his senior year, he's getting contacted by all these Division I schools that are great schools, and they're interested in it. But he's already signed with this Division II school that showed him interest right away. And he was happy with it, but he wasn't proactive in thinking through the whole picture of the recruiting process, how to communicate well, how to take a look at all the options available. So just want to share those stories with you guys. Resources available. Slide 11. You guys need to get your hands on resources. Find some good websites that you trust that you can go to for information to get your questions answered. Get some good books, too. There's really good books. If you just Google it, like college baseball recruiting on Amazon, you search that, man, there are 10 great books on there. Get one that's interesting to you. Also, the recruiting services thing. Now there's all these companies that say, hey, if you pay us a fee, we'll help your guy get recruited. We'll help you get recruited to play college baseball. Okay, that's great. I support that. Just need to be aware that these companies have an agenda to make money and make a profit. So just because they're saying we're going to help you get recruited, they may tell you what you want to hear just to get you to pay them money. They have that agenda going on. But at the same time, most of these companies do a good job. They help you put together a good baseball resume, help you put together highlight video, get you connected to a network of coaches, and help you send out letters and emails to these schools. They help you connect. They help you get you seen. One company that does this is Student Athlete Showcase. They do a pretty good job, I think, but something to be aware of. Like to just share a little bit about a couple factors of college baseball that nobody else is going to tell you. Just so you know, in college baseball, many schools are actually going to over-recruit and have incredibly large rosters. So your high school team has what, like 20 guys on it? In college, you'll probably have 40 to 50 guys at most schools, from all levels, from Division I to junior college. It's just how it is. And these are all guys that are playing college baseball. They're big rosters. And, it's something to be aware of, that there could be 3 other freshmen coming at your position. So you just need to be aware of that. I would also recommend to try to get a small scholarship from the school. This shows that they're invested in you, that they believe in you. Sometimes there's unique situations where walking on is the best, and that's not bad, especially like at Division III schools. You got to do what you got to do there. But if you can even just get $1,000, a couple $1,000, like it at least shows they're putting an investment in you as a player, and especially at the smaller levels. Another thing to consider is, do you want to be the best player at a lower level, or maybe like not as good of a player at a D1 level? You know, depending on where you're at with your ability, there's always places you can put yourself to where you're more one of the best players or one of the lower players. That's just something for you to be aware of and consider. Be aware that college showcases and camps often exist just for the profit of the camp, of the school, and they aren't always super helpful. And here's my advice. It goes back to the first thing, which baseball's not your identity, is that college baseball is really hard. It's not super glamorous. It's a grind. You have to fight through it. There's really challenging days that'll beat you down. There's a lot of failure, not just in the game, but in just the grind of working out, the grind of being exhausted with school, the grind of having to sacrifice social things that your other buddies are doing. It's tough. It's a sacrifice. And so you really need to love the game and know why you're doing it, and not just do it for the allure of playing college baseball. And this is at every level, from Division I down to small NAIA schools. Like I said, be proactive. The end there. You need to be proactive. A couple frequently asked questions. How important are getting good grades? Vitally important. Get good grades. The better your grades are, the easier this whole process will be, the more money will be available to you academically, and the more schools and options you'll have. You should have highlight video. It's very important. Even if you don't use a recruiting service, getting highlight video will help show coaches. They'll be able to see now your mechanics, who you are as a player, what you look like. It's huge. Multiple sports isn't an issue as long as you're proactively communicating with coaches about what's going on. Again, varsity season, club team showcases, I'd say do as much as you want, as much as you think is valuable. Just be aware of everyone's agenda, what they're trying to do making money-wise, and what the best situation really is, and just be savvy with it. My conclusion is, there should be a place for almost anybody, and if you really love it, if you really want it, there should be a place for you, and that's at the D1 level for guys that are really talented, and for guys that don't have quite as much talent at the lower levels. There should be a good fit and a good place for you. But you need to keep that in perspective of saying that, like, just because you play college baseball, it's not who you are. It's not your true identity. It's not your purpose. There's more to life than it. It's just one small piece of what God's doing in your life. So I'd recommend that. I'd also say don't expect a large baseball scholarship. Obviously, hope for it, work for it, do your best, but don't have this like expectation that you're getting a full ride scholarship to your dream school. I mean, be realistic about where you're at, and then work hard. Work hard to prove guys wrong, and to prove the guys that do believe in you, prove them right. That'd be my advice there. The last thing I'm going to leave you with is to love the game, be proactive because you love the game, and just enjoy this whole process. It's a once-in-a-lifetime thing, and I can't recommend it enough. For as much of a grind it is, it's wonderful. Playing college baseball is a life-changing experience at the Division I level, at the Division II level, lower levels. I mean, it's wonderful. It truly is a special thing to be able to play at this high level. So I recommend it. So be proactive and continue just to love the game through the process. All right, guys. Thank you so much for your time.